There is an old saying that the fate of someone is set in stone, but how different would history have been if many famous monarchs simply accepted what fate had dealt them? One woman, pushed to the sidelines by a foreign court and an unloving husband, was not one to accept her fate without a fight. This is the story of Catherine the Great of Russia. Ekaterina, or Catherine as she was better known in English, was in fact not the birth name of one of Russia's most impactful rulers. She was born as Princess Sophie Friederike Auguste von Anhalt-Zerbst-Dornburg on May 2nd, 1729 in Prussia. She was the eldest child of her father, Prince Christian August of Anhalt-Zerbst, and his wife, Joanna Elizabeth of Holstein-Gottorp. Sophie's parents married in 1727 when Joanna Elizabeth was 15 and Prince Christian was 37, with the marriage being a mismatch due to their age and personalities. Joanna had to stay on bed rest for 19 weeks following the birth of Sophie, as it was incredibly difficult for her. She would give birth to 3 more children: a son named Wilhelm Christian Friederike, born on November 17, 1730, who would suffer from rickets; Friedrich Augustus, born on August 8, 1734, a daughter named Auguste Charlotte, born on November 10, 1736, who died aged 2 weeks; another daughter, Elizabeth Ulrich, born on December 17, 1742, who died on March 5, 1745. Sophie's mother, Johanna, was very cold to her eldest daughter, being violent and angry towards her and showing little affection. She openly preferred Sophie's brother, Wilhelm Christian, as her favorite. The family also had very little money, as Sophie's father only had the rank of a Prussian general at the time of her birth, and her mother Johanna had married below her social standing. Like many girls her age, Sophie was educated in French alongside her native German, educated in etiquette and Lutheran theology. When Sophie was older, she described her childhood as being uneventful. In 1739, at the age of 10, Sophie met her second cousin and future husband, the future Tsar Peter III of Russia. Sophie found him detestable, even at a young age, expressing that she did not care much for his alcohol fondness or for his pale complexion. In 1742, Sophie's younger brother and her mother's favorite child, Wilhelm Christian, died at the age of 12, thus causing her mother to start paying more attention to Sophie. Johanna wanted to marry off her young daughter to secure wealth for the family and improve her social situation, and it is possible that Sophie saw marriage as a way to escape her overbearing mother. In the year 1744, Sophie and her mother Johanna traveled from Prussia to Russia to meet with Empress Elizabeth, who was said to never have worn the same dress twice after being handed a letter from the Grand Marshal. Empress Elizabeth had once been betrothed to Johanna's brother Karl, who died of smallpox in 1727, 2 years before Sophie was born. The journey to Russia was rough, as Johanna and Sophie had to sleep in roach-infested hovels under assumed names. When the pair finally did arrive in Russia, they had arrived just in time for Peter's 16th birthday celebrations. At first, life in the Russian Imperial court was friendly. Sophie took to learning Russian late into the night, got along well with Empress Elizabeth, and was adapting well to her new life. When Sophie became deathly ill, she asked for a Russian Orthodox priest over a Lutheran father. However, Sophie's mother Johanna almost ruined her daughter's life. Johanna was constantly whining, making her very unpopular. She was also exposed as a spy, working for the King of Prussia after letters were intercepted. Empress Elizabeth was, understandably, furious and ordered Johanna to leave after Peter and Sophie were married. Peter and Sophie married on August 21st, 1745, and she was now known as Grand Duchess Catherine Alexeyevna. Catherine never saw her mother again. On October 1st, 1754, after nearly a decade of marriage problems, Catherine gave birth to her son, Pavel, who was whisked away by Empress Elizabeth. There were rumors that Peter was not Pavel's biological father. Catherine would give birth to a daughter named Anna Petrovna in December 1757, but she died aged 15 months on March 8, 1759. A son was fathered by her lover, Grigori Orlov, and was born on April 11, 1762. On January 5, 1762, Empress Elizabeth died at the age of 52, making Catherine's husband Tsar Peter III of Russia. He was, to put it nicely, totally incompetent for a majority of his reign. He preferred playing with his toy soldiers over spending time with his wife, acted like a spoiled child rather than a composed adult, barely spoke any Russian, and hated anything to do with the country of Russia despite being the new monarch. He did try to issue some reforms during his reign, such as making it illegal for landowners to unalive their serfs. In July 1762, after less than a year on the throne, Peter III was overthrown in a coup in support of his wife, Catherine, with aid from Grigori Orlov, her lover, and his brothers. Peter then died suddenly, although the real reason has never quite been proven. To add insult to injury, Peter's idol, Friederike the Great, said of Peter's dethronement, "He allowed himself to be dethroned like a child sent off to bed." Catherine was now the Empress of Russia and free of her horrid husband. Her marriage to Peter was a dumpster fire, and she said, "There is nothing worse than having a child husband." Catherine did her best to appease the Russian Orthodox Church as well as the Russian armies. She told Russian troops heading off to Denmark to return home, returned church land that her husband Peter had taken, but she would later make the church part of the state. She also styled herself after the famous Peter the Great, Empress Elizabeth's father. She created a document called the Nakaz on how the Russian legal system should change. The document listed that capital punishment and other similar punishments should be outlawed, and declared that all men should be proclaimed equal. Catherine would bring in delegates from the various social and economic standings in Russia to form the Legislative Commission in 1767. No laws came from this, but it had been the first time the various members of the Russian population could express their thoughts. Catherine, similar to Peter the Great, also brought Russia into the Enlightened Age, kicking and screaming. Russia was viewed as backwards, and Catherine changed this reputation. She pushed for education opportunities and attention towards the arts. She established a school for girls of noble birth in St. Petersburg and called for free schooling in towns across Russia. She also exchanged letters with Voltaire. Russia also expanded its borders and gained large amounts of land in Poland. Catherine installed her lover, Count Stanislaw Poniatowski, on the Polish throne. War broke out between Russia and the Ottoman Empire, with Catherine reaching a peace treaty in 1774, bringing Russia new lands in its empire. Grigory Potemkin, a hero of the war and a member of the 1762 coup, became Catherine's lover and was a decade her junior. It is also rumored that he married her, but it is unclear if the couple ever did wed. In 1785, the Charter of the Nobility appeared. This policy augmented the power of the upper classes, with serfdom still being the normality. By the mid-1790s, Catherine, now in her relatively old age, enjoyed spending time with her grandchildren, being closest to Alexander, but she still had a strained relationship with her only son, Pavel. In November 1796, Catherine was found on the floor of her bathroom, unconscious, possibly as the result of a stroke. She held on during the night but never woke up. On November 17, 1796, at the age of 67, Catherine died. She was Empress of Russia for 34 years. Her son Pavel had the remains of his father, Tsar Peter III, brought to the Winter Palace to be placed alongside his mother. Catherine and Peter were laid to rest next to each other at the Cathedral of St. Peter and St. Paul, forever trapped beside each other for the rest of eternity. Catherine the Great is now more remembered for her romances and false rumors of a compromising horseplay rather than her policies. For a woman with, and not a single drop of Russian blood in her, no formal political education, and very few allies, Catherine was able to pull Russia into a new age, expanded the borders, brought forth educational reforms, and brought further attention to the arts. Few of her successors were able to recapture the glory that Ekaterina II brought to her adoptive country. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little off in this video. When I was recording this, I was still getting over a cold that my sister had bestowed upon me. So that's why my video voice in this might sound a little bit off. But I'd like to thank everyone for all the support on the recent videos lately. I have a lot more exciting stuff planned and a few rants coming up very soon, possibly. So thank you so much again for supporting my channel, and if you would like to see more of my content, please subscribe to Sweet History Tea, a channel full of random facts and lots of sparkles. If you would like to support my channel, there is a link down below in the description with more information. It is not expected, but it is always appreciated. Thank you so much again for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.
There's a part of myself I'm missing.